Hello, day traders. It's April 16th, 2019, almost 1 o'clock on this Tuesday trading day. Really good day for me today. I had a few trades. Actually, could have done a little better, but that's always the rule, is that you can always do better and you can always do worse. So anytime you feel as if you made a bad trade, honestly, it can always be worse. And every time you've made a good trade, it can always be better. So always look to improve yourself. A few of my trades I just mismanaged, or one of my trades I mismanaged, and then another one was just a really great trade that I'll show you really quick. This is a trade I missed right here. Packaging Corp of America, PKG. This was a gapping. This showed up in I think it showed up in my pre-market. Actually, I didn't notice it in the pre-market. It showed up in a gapping scan I have. And then it also popped up in my VWAP Axis scan, the scan that I built. And I use Trade Idea software to build these scans. And I'll show you, let's see, this is a gapping scan right here. And you can see right here that PKG is right here. And it showed up because, I'll show you so you can see these are daily candles. This is a daily chart. And it gapped down through this 200 moving average. The green here, you can see the key here. The 200 moving average is a very important moving average, simple moving average on a daily chart. And it gapped down through it. So that's why I noticed it right away when it showed up on my gapping scan. And it also showed up, I'm pretty sure that it showed up in my my VWAP Axis scan, which is a scan that looks for stocks that are down on the day and then coming back up through VWAP. Yep, I can show you to you right here. Right there, PKG at 11:03, right when it was coming back up from below VWAP. And I just missed it. I think I was in two other trades at this time, so I missed it. And then look what it did. From right at VWAP around 93.85, it went all the way up to 96.15. So I mean, over $2, and it's still moving. So it might turn green on the day. So let me show you first the first trade I took today, which was, I honestly mismanaged it, but I also just played it like I would any stock that I just wasn't really comfortable with. I took a trade in the first half hour, and normally I don't trade the first half hour at all. I very rarely trade the first 15 minutes, but the first half hour, there's some exceptions, and that was this stock that I showed up, right here. JBGS. It showed up in my pre-market scan, and the reason being that gap down. You see, I paid, the gappers are really keys to day trading for me anyway, because it means that a stock's moved out of its resistance, some sort of local resistance. If it's up here, there's a lot of resistance, and resistance matters more the closer it is in time frame. So if you go back a year, the resistance on a daily chart's not going to mean as much. But it also means something's moving the stock. If it gapped down in the pre-market and opens up above or below, well above or below where it was, it means something's going on, which means the stock is probably going to be moving. So this one gapped down, and I think it closed yesterday at 42.86, and it opened today at around 42.40. So I took notice of it, and you can see why I got in when I did. And these lines I just put here to show you where I was looking to get out if it hit my stop, and where I was looking to get out if it hit a target. So I took a short on this. So it first 5 minutes it went down, and then I had a big green candle right up to VWAP, volume weighted average price, which is a key for day trading. And then it rejected it and came back down again. So I saw that, and I saw this like green bar ignored, and then I saw this little doji candle where buyers tried to bring it up a little bit, still couldn't. So I got in here, but right away I got nervous because look what happened. Big push up through VWAP, and I said, oh great, I got caught holding the bag here, and now it's going to be a turn green for the day. But then it came right back down with a green red candle, but then another green candle up, and then another. So right away I was a little nervous because I figured it would have gotten out of this indecision part right here when I got in, but it kept wavering back and forth. At least it stayed below VWAP, so I was comfortable with that. And then what happened? Big drop down. Big long wick up for the next 5 minute candle. So buyers tried to bring it up, sellers brought it back down, and then this is what happened. I wanted to get out some at 41.90. It spiked down just to 41.91, and I didn't take any out. And then it came back up and formed this green candle with this long, this like hammer formation. And I said, oh crap, so maybe it's going to be coming back up. So I just got out here at, I think I got out at 42.09. I got in at 42.16 and I got out at 42.09. So just a very like 7-cent gain. But again, I don't take these stocks early in the day. I usually don't trade that early. I wait for setups. So I was comfortable getting out when I did. But then what happened is right after I got out, it just kept going down, hit my first target, kind of went sideways a little, then dropped down and hit my second target. And then it basically came down and hit my third target here at 41.64. And really, I was a little disappointed, but it wasn't a loss. I didn't take a loss on this, so I can't be too upset. I got a little bit of a gain with 7 cents, so not a huge problem, but a little disappointing. And then one of the reasons why I kind of was disappointed in myself is I could have put my stop a little bit further back, closer to my entry, above this 8 EMA, because see how it tracked the 8 EMA basically all the way down. I like to see this with gappers, especially gappers down, where they gap down, they kind of move sideways, maybe a little down, and wait for the 8 EMA to catch up. And once it does, if it keeps dropping with the 8 and uses it as resistance, that tells me it might continue down further. And it did do that, but I got out right at the 8 EMA here. Probably stupid. If I had just put my stop a little closer up to where I got in, I could have held on to it and gotten down to my target. So mismanaged, yes, but I don't really trade, like I said, this early, so I was being extra cautious. So just a small gain on that. But then the next trade I got into, which I also kind of mismanaged, I'd say, but not terribly so. KAR. Now this showed up, I think this was also a gapping scan. Is KAR in here? Yeah, there it is. KAR. This is on my top list. So KAR showed up. It also showed up in my pre-market because, as you can see, it gapped down. Or gapped up, I'm sorry. So this is this green line here is the 200 moving average, and it gapped from yesterday here all the way above it, right? And then it started dropping. So I watched it early in the day as it dropped down, and then it came back up through VWAP, right? And now this also probably showed up in my VWAP scan, my VWAP axis scan, looking for stocks coming back through VWAP. I saw it do this, and then I saw these two little indecision dojis above VWAP, and then a green candle up again, which said it's using this as a nice little shelf here, nice little support. And so I got in right here at 55.49, and it came up really high, and then had a big red candle here. And so I held on to it though, and then it kind of tracked itself. It kind of moved slowly up, and I was like, great, it's going to hit my first target, 56.07. I was prepared to get out some at $56 even. Never got there, and then it started coming back down. And when you look at this 5-minute candle chart, you could see that I was waiting for it to break the 8 EMA, and if it did that, I was going to get out. And it did, although it came right back up again. So this kind of could be a winner again. But, I mean, I got in at 55.49, and I got out at 55.63. So just a 14-cent gain. Nothing tremendous, but it could have been better. I could have waited. It's already up like 20 cents from where I got out, so I could have made it a nice 30+ cent gain if I just waited a little bit. But the reason I kind of got out here was because I had just finished a trade that was my best trade of the day, and I'll show you. So this was, KAR Auction Services. Unfortunately, I didn't play it as well as I could. So two trades I didn't play, not for losses. I still made money on these trades, just not as good as they could be. And if you ever hear day traders talk about success and how they're successful, they let their winning trades run, because that can really make up for 10 losses, right? You get one good trade that runs over $1 up, and you just keep tracking it up, moving your stop up, and then getting out at a really high point. You're gonna make up for a lot of small losses where you got out right at your stop. So that's that I didn't do that here, and I think this is actually going to end up going above 56 at some point. I could be wrong, but I'll be watching it the rest of the day. I just don't feel like getting in because I already did well enough on this last trade. WestRock Packaging and Containers, WRK. So I think I'm going to tighten this up so I can see a little bit more of what I did here. So this showed up, I think this was also in my gapping scan. Yeah, here it is, WRK. And again, I'll show you where it gapped. Gapped down here. So it's been kind of wavering a lot on the dailies, and then just had a big gap down here, right? So it's to close the day yesterday at 38.73, and it opened today at around 37.20, 20, right? So gap down is pretty significant amount. And so I watched it, and you can see started the day, big time coming down. Let me open this one up because I like using this. This is what I like using for stocks that are gap down a lot, because the 8 EMA and the 20 SMA are kind of significant here. And I'll show you why. So big red candles start the day down, continuing down. Eventually the 8 EMA catches up to it. So I watched it right here. I was waiting to see if it was going to continue down with the 8 EMA, using that as resistance, or cross it. And you can see it crossed it up and then kept going. And then what happened here? This is a significant point here. When you see the 8 EMA and the 20 SMA cross, it usually, or it could, depending on how it's moving, could indicate a change in direction, which it absolutely did right here. So I got in literally right at this cross. I should have waited probably till here for confirmation, but I got in because I assumed, which is not smart to do, but I assumed that the cross was happening because it was kind of moving up with some volume. So I got in at 35.52, and then look what happened. Just moved right up to my first target at 35.80. I took some out, and then at my second target, 35.94, I took out the rest. So I got in at 35.52, got out at 80, and got out at 94. So that was a really great trade. And then you can see it kept moving up, kind of settled back down near the 8 EMA, and it looks like it might continue up again. Maybe it actually will have another leg up here. Who knows? But yeah, I was really happy with this. Now you can see this showed up in that gappers up down list that I showed you right here, but it also showed up in my VWAP axis scan. So when I see a stock that shows that I'm interested in, that shows up in multiple scans of mine, I get really interested, because then it means there's a lot of different things working for it. So let me see if I can find that. All right, so you can see right here at where is it? 1150 right here, right when it crossed the 8 EMA, it popped up in this scan. It's a multi-strategy list, but they're both essentially the same kind of strats, that with one little twist on one of them that very rarely triggers. So either way, it's basically a VWAP axis scan. So right here it showed up in at 1150. So I had already gotten in, so it didn't really matter. I was just waiting for it to kind of bust through, and you can see the big green candle it had right here, and you can see on the 15-minute chart that ended up being a big candle as well. So it moved up really nicely. I wish I had held on to some. I mean, I scaled out at my first and second target. If I had held on to some, I could have gotten an extra. Let's see, got out at 80. What did I get out? 94. Yeah, and it went up all the way to 26. So I could have gotten another 30-cent gain on it, and perhaps it'll keep moving up. We'll see. But this ended up being the trade that really made the day. The other two were small gains because I kind of misplayed them. This was the big one. So I'm going to try streaming these actually today, some of my scans, just to see if I can get that working. And hopefully I'll be able to do that, because most of my trades now are coming from stocks that I see in the pre-market that show up eventually in these kind of scans later on. So hopefully I'll be able to stream those pre-market scans, because I think a lot of people, if they're interested in day trading, you need trade ideas, you need those scans. That's the best way to trade. You're not going to find enough stocks that fit your trading style unless you have that kind of scanning software, and it's really the only scanning software out there for you to do that. So I'll let you get familiar with it by streaming it, hopefully within the next couple days. I'm going to try doing something really quick today and see if I can stream it. But if you have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys had a good trading day, and I will see you next time.